Hello and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Talks. My name is Iftikhar Ahmed and I'm the editor of Abir Pothi. In Tuesday Talk, we have with us emerging artists, curators, art practitioners who are associated with art in any capacity. And we have such artist today, Shambhavi Singh, and she's from Varanasi. And we'll talk to her about her art practice and how is it going. She happens to be the winner of First Take 2022, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
Yes. So let's welcome Shambhavi. Shambhavi, thank you so much for taking out time. And how are you?
I'm good.
Uh, so what is going on now? Like you have been the winner of First Take 2022. So I would like to begin with that. How did you get to know about it, and how did it shape in your artistic journey?
Definitely, it has shaped a lot my artistic practice as I got this information first of all from the Instagram and Facebook. Then I have applied for it. I have filled the form. I have sent my artworks, and later it got selected. And I was more interested about the jury, like Girish Karya, and there are many more conceptual artists who have been associated with Abir Pothi, and this is something which makes this organization more interesting and more unbiased, which is what I believe. So, means after that, my practices have been changed a lot. When I have visited the exhibition, I have seen many artworks. I have seen artists who have experimented with range of mediums, range of colors, range of techniques. So definitely that has shaped a lot my thinking thought process. But actually there was a certain problem as I was going through my PhD phase, and it took me 2 years after that 2 years to complete my PhD. Recently, I have submitted my thesis in July 2024, and again I have started some of my works. Means again I have started doing some of my artworks. So right now, definitely, I think somewhat it has influenced my practices um a lot. Means it has helped a lot in changing my practices.
Yeah. So, how did you see the evolution of your artwork? Like, where did the journey start, and where is it going?
Okay, I was thinking about the more about the minimalism. Recently, I have shared some of you my pics of artworks. I have tried to be more minimal, like means I've used less, um, what I can say. I have tried to minimalize my images. This is what I'm trying to do. What I can be more expressive in less forms and less minimal forms. Recently, what I'm doing right now, because earlier what when I was observing my artworks, I was believing like I have used a lot of elements. Recently, what new series what I have done, and it is also being selected at IFA Amritsar. So I'm just trying to be more minimal right now. This is what I have done, a sort of new change to my artwork. This is what I believe.
Okay, so you are telling me that it started with a lot of elements, and now you are simplifying uh,
Yes.
it. Like you are not using too many colors. That what I have observed in your
Okay.
artwork.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also interesting to note, yet it is minimalist, but so many intricate line works. It has texture, it seems textured, and it has organic quality,
Yes.
and it has
Yes.
dots, and
Yes.
it has stipplings, and symmetry, asymmetry. And what are these biological figures that you are painting now?
Okay, actually, let me tell you one thing. In 11th, I wanted to take biology, but my father asked me to take maths. So in 10th class, we used to do some sort of experiments in biology lab, like dissection of onion cell under microscopic. Um, Under microscope, we used to study different scales like onion peels and different vegetable scales. So this really makes me fascinating, like how do we observe living organisms under microscopic level? this is the most like this is like inspiration for me. This is a kind of inspiration for me. Somewhere my works are more inspired from biomorphic images and the experiments which I used to do in my 10th class. It has shaped somewhere my memory. Okay, this is the first thing. Secondly, the patterns of smoke. Somewhere we used to preach, somewhere we used to do puja, or about like somewhere when we see a kind of smoke, it used to take some kind of pattern. It doesn't flow anywhere else. So this is the second thing which fascinates me a lot. And these are the few things which I definitely feel like when I used to draw, when I used to create something and I take inspiration from all these things like animal cells, plant cells. I used to read a lot. I used to means I don't know why these images fascinates me a lot. Like so somewhere my works resemble like biomorphic images.
Hmm. You have an interesting journey from hardcore science background to now doing art. So, what was
Yes.
that shift for you?
What means like it was an interesting shift because after 12th I have taken yes I have studied BFA and MFA and recently I was trying to look for those artists who have experimented with somewhat science and like or they are more concerned about the environmental practices like I was searching about or I am searching I used to search about or used to look about those artists like Vibha Galotra, Ravi Agrawal, Jatish Kalat. So this is really interesting for me means I just don't want to look art as merely art. Like it's a kind of interdisciplinary practice for me as what most of the artists are taking it as in present time. So definitely my PCM background has helped me a lot. This is what I believe. Like I can look into more broader vision for shaping my practice. And presently अभी तो means I think अभी मैंने थोड़ा काम start किया है. Right now I'm not that in phase because recently I've submitted my PhD thesis. So yeah, definitely it'll take 1 or 2 years to more evolve. So this is what I believe. Like it's a kind of interdisciplinary practices what one has to like, and it is essential to see into other streams also.
Can you tell us about more about your PhD thesis and how you have been incorporating in your art practice?
The topic of my thesis is the curatorial art practices in India in the context of Biennale art exhibitions. So during my thesis period, PhD period, I visited Kochi Museum's Biennale twice. I visited numerous exhibitions which happened in Delhi. I visited India Art Fair. So somewhere that paved me that all these platforms has like inspired me a lot in shaping my thought process, like how an artist if we call an artist a conceptual artist, how their journey is being shaped, about how the curatorial practices have been uh, shaped or it has been changing in different institutional structures. Suppose when we talk about the gallery curators, when we talk about government bodies like Lalit Kala Academy, and when we enter like alternate art spaces, suppose LAMO, there is an organization in Ladakh, there is an organization in Assam. Okay, I'm just forgetting the name. Means there are also many alternate art spaces. Um, I'm forgetting the names, but and there and say and lastly, Biennale art exhibitions where curators get more opportunity to experiment. So basically, the purpose of my thesis was to see how the curatorial practices are evolving within different institutional structures.
So, tell me more about it. How do you see the role of a curator in shaping the narrative and discourse around art?
Definitely, when we see from the Indian subcontinent, first of all, it is totally a new topic as since 2010-11, this topic has been studied a lot. 2000 back to 2010-11, few workshops were organized by FICA, Foundation for Indian Contemporary Art, and JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. Okay, from there, such kinds of discourse were initiated. Earlier to that, there were certain architects like Geeta Kapoor and Ranjit was quoted who have started writing around 90s. Like Geeta Kapoor, she was among the prominent architect who the first who wrote upon such topics because she curated uh, several important exhibitions like 100. If you must have read 100 years of NGMA around 90s, which was curated in National Gallery of Modern Art, that was a turning point. Okay, so this is the history. Basically, this is the history, but recently, when we see curatorial practices have changed a lot because till 2010-11, if we see the structure of galleries, if we see the role of curators within galleries, like most of the artworks were selected, mm, like there was not much concept. What I can say, if like,
Okay, let me
uh,
simplify it. What I want to know is what is curation exactly? I mean,
okay,
you are the right person to answer this question as you have your thesis around it. What
okay,
is curation? I want to know because what I am seeing is curation is a word that I think and I am observing is overly used. Everything
yes,
these days is curated. Food curation, your wardrobe
yes, yes,
curation, and everything.
yes,
And everybody calls themselves curator. So, what
yes.
is curation and who is a curator?
Okay, basically the purpose of my thesis was to prove the same thing, like not everyone can be a curator, and
Right.
curators are basically those person who mediates between artworks and viewers. Basically, they act as a catalyst who enhances the rate of exhibition. Basically, means like they act as a mediator between the artwork and the public. This is a basic definition. And for me, I believe like when we look at the curatorial practices which are happening at the alternate art spaces as well as like biennales, their curators are experimenting a lot. Like they are, first of all, they're experimenting with the spaces, okay, use of derelict buildings. They are bringing more artists, like from different regions, artists are participating, and they are framing. They're bringing artists under a certain conceptual note. First of all, this is the most essential part, and their spaces are not like white cube structures where you can get proper lightings, derelict buildings, colonial means like broken buildings. So their curators are experimenting in a more profound way. So this is what I believe, like here the curation took a different turn when we talk about the Biennale art exhibitions. This is what I have addressed in my thesis. And secondly, alternate art spaces like Lamo, it is a place in Ladakh. There's one more place in, I think it used to be happen at Ferry in Assam. I think it was initiated by a student of IIT Guwahati, a professor of IIT Guwahati. I'm just forgetting the name. So there are
No
certain
problem.
alternate art spaces, Khoj, sorry, I'm just like Khoj. So all these spaces have somewhere where curators have experimented a lot. Like Fika can also be taken because right now Fika is more focusing on artists who have like Bihari artists or like artists who are coming from lesser known region, suppose especially northeastern region. There was a time till 2010, if you look at the gallery structure, there was a time when you will hardly found any artist from northeastern region or from southern region because there was a time when Delhi, Bombay, and Baroda, these were the centers which dominated a lot, especially the arts, especially the gallery structures, because we usually found the many eminent artists, and still we have many eminent artists from there. But after 2012, you will notice like now galleries are also featuring conceptual artists. This is what curation has changed. Basically, मैं यही बताना चाहती हूँ. This is how the curatorial practices are also changing at the gallery level, especially the private galleries. If you look at the Vadhera gallery, if you look at the experimenter nature mode, now these galleries are also bringing artists from lesser stream region, like lesser known region, especially south. And if you know Talwar is one of the most prominent gallery. Talwar has also always exhibited artists from South region. So, and especially when we talk about Biennale art exhibitions, definitely there are artists who are coming from always different regions. There's no such specific thing. So there are many points from where we can study how the role of curator has evolved more conceptually in a more pragmatic way in the Indian subcontinent. This is what I believe.
All
I
right.
hope if I have able to clear my point.
No, no, no. That was really enlightening and really informative piece of information that you have shared, and rightly so. You are doing your PhD on it, and is there something else that you? I want to know your opinion about the curators who are curating for individual artists, like solo shows they are curating, and they have big clients and big names. Where do you
Means
place them?
okay. No, definitely. Basically, curation is not about just bringing all the artworks and just hanging it around. It should have some sort of curatorial concept. Despite like several these organizations who are organizing some sort of exhibitions like Abir or any IFA Amritsar or like IFX New Delhi. The yes, this is a different part. Okay, so when we talk about the gallery curators who are focusing on big names, definitely there are certain gallery curators like Kmud. Once I read an interview of Shirin Gandhi, they have a certain relation to those artists. So मैं इस पे ज्यादा नहीं बोलना चाहूंगी because I have just read into as they sort of Shireen believes like she wanted to maintain a kind of relationship. When you will go through the website of Kmul Prescott, you will found numerous exhibitions of Atul Dodia, Jitish Kalat, and Reena Kalat because they have a strong association with Shirin Gandhi. This is the reason why sometimes gallery curators prefer to bring such big names to their gallery. This is one of the major reason. So I have means like I have also taken interviews, so I have also learned from those curators. Like they have a strong association. That's why they bring such artists.
All right, Shambhavi, let's talk more about your art practice. So, coming back to the question, like, when did you discover your art voice? Was it in school when you were studying biology, or has it happened in the art classes that you took after school, in graduation, post graduation?
No, not. I think till masters we are just like focused on improving our skills. But after
Okay.
masters, when I've entered the PhD phase, when I've started visiting exhibitions, when I've started reading more about the conceptual artists, because I was as as per my topic, there was a demand to read more about the artist and artistic practices. So that was a turning point that my PhD when I started visiting gallery exhibitions in Delhi. So from there, I have certainly changed I believe like that was a turning point from where I have changed my practices a lot. Means means a kind of I have evolved my practices. I have changed my practices. Means I have examined like how it should be. Means what what direction I should choose for first of all. Till masters, I was making anything. Means even I was not certified. But in my PhD, when I started traveling a lot, started visiting. I've meeting. I've also met various artists in their Salim, Veer Munshi. I've taken their interviews when I was reading their interviews, when I was knowing their practices. So it has influenced a lot. It has shaped a lot my practices.
All right, Shambhavi, thank you so much. And this
Thank
is
you.
it for today. And it was pleasure talking
Thank
to
you.
you, and cannot thank you enough. And I wish you all the best. And whatever you are doing pertaining to art, keep us posted. And we would love to write about you, cover your adventures, your exhibitions, and everything. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.